Kraków, 1942. The corridors of a requisitioned hospital lay in blackout silence. Beds aligned in rows. Morphine bottles refracted the dim light of a single lamp. Uniforms hung on nails beside the door. The breathing of sedated men merged with the slow ticking of an IV regulator. A nurse moved between them, her shoes wrapped in cloth to muffle sound. She checked pupils, adjusted clamps, recorded pulse rates. On her tray stood a glass vial without label. She replaced each dose with careful pressure, milliliter by milliliter. The liquid transparent, odorless, chemically absolute. At 2, the wards were still. By morning, 4 officers would be dead. No one ever recorded her name. German command had converted half of Krakow's hospitals into military facilities. The building on WWII Street served SS units stationed after the liquidation of the ghetto. Doctors wore Wehrmacht insignia. Nurses reported to them under supervision of the Red Cross. Files labeled civilian staff concealed forced laborers, refugees, and fugitives using forged credentials. Among them, Jewish women who had escaped transports and re-entered the city under assumed identities. They wore crosses around their necks and carried permits stamped with false origins. Verification was rare, personnel shortages chronic. Occupation produced bureaucracy faster than suspicion. Leah Weiss was 30. Trained in the Lodz Ghetto Hospital before its closure, she had memorized pharmacology tables by candlelight. Her deportation order in 1941 listed her as medically skilled labor. She escaped the convoy near Lublin when bombardment halted the train, walked north through forests, and reached Kraków using transit papers from a partisan network. Under the name Helena Witkowska, she registered as a nurse's aide at the SS convalescent ward, a German fluent, her handwriting uniform. The supervising physician, Oberarzt Dr. Keller, accepted her credentials without question. The ward treated officers wounded in partisan actions. Daily routine fixed. Temperature readings, wound irrigation, morphine distribution at 18. Records kept in triplicate. German, Latin, Polish. Leah performed her duties with mechanical precision. She moved like someone measuring time rather than passing through it. Her posture neutral, her voice controlled to the decibel expected of subordinates. No one asked her origin. Accent passed for Silesian. Within weeks, she recognized faces. Officers rotated from the Ghetto District Command. Men she had seen supervising roundups in Lodz. They discussed transports over dinner, counted deportees as figures, not people. Her memory cross-checked names with orders she once copied in the ghetto infirmary. Identity aligned with responsibility. Observation became calculation. Medical stores included sodium cyanide among disinfectant supplies, trace amounts for laboratory use. Barbiturates, in crystalline form, morphine ampoules sealed under glass. She computed mixture ratios from pharmacology tables. C10H15N 2NaO3 plus NaCN equal to compound causing respiratory failure within minutes when combined with alcohol. Lethal dose per body weight, 0.18 milligrams kg. Undetectable at autopsy if dissolved in ethanol and administered with narcotic. She tested the solution on rats captured near refuse bins, recording pulse intervals with stopwatch accuracy. All data entered in a small notebook hidden behind plaster near the boiler room. Her decision evolved from observation, not fury. Each equation replaced emotion. Each calculation a substitution for grief. She began adjusting morphine doses assigned to 4 specific patients. Night shift offered solitude. Records written afterward ensured consistency. 1 vial exchanged each night. She diluted barbiturate into morphine, stirred until clear, measured 1 cubic centimeter per syringe. Injection timed with nurse rounds to match routine. No irregularity visible. First incident, November 10th, 1942. Patient, Hauptsturmführer, Fritz Neumann. Diagnosis, fractured femur. Death recorded, 2:17. Cause, heart failure during sleep. Body transferred to morgue, cremated next morning. No investigation. Second incident, 12 December. Identical symptoms. Third, late January. Dr. Keller ordered inquiry into possible contamination of morphine batch. Pharmacy analysis negative. Case closed. Leah noted outcomes by formula. Subject A, elapsed 62 minutes. Subject B, 54 minutes. Error ratio, 12.9%. She adjusted concentration accordingly. Each operation executed with clinical precision. No deviation in handwriting. No pause in speech. To staff, she remained efficient, quiet, indispensable. To herself, an equation balancing loss. By March 1943, rumors circulated. The deaths described as sleeping sickness. Superiors ordered replacement of nursing staff. She anticipated audit before it occurred. That night, she removed her forged identity card from locker, replaced it with blank, duplicate, burned her uniform in the furnace, and left wearing civilian coat. At dawn, the train yard filled with troop convoys heading south towards Slovakia. She boarded a supply wagon using papers prepared months earlier by the underground. Destination, Žilina. The journey lasted 30 hours. Inside the freight car, medical crates labeled Sanitats material. She positioned herself among them, rationing water by measured sips. At inspection point in Podwilk, German patrols opened random boxes. She displayed her Red Cross badge and claimed oversight of medical cargo. Official stamps matched. The patrol waved her through. Precision in documentation equaled immunity. At Žilina station, she disembarked among refugees and railway workers. Snow-covered tracks, floodlights reflected off ice. She followed pre-arranged route to contact from partisan medical unit. Password, exchange minimal. 3 words regarding morphine concentration. She received new identification papers from Slovak resistance. Name, Anna Wajsova. Occupation, nurse. Citizenship, Slovak. Work continued at field infirmary near Ruzomberok treating wounded partisans. Her competence established quickly, discipline identical. No one questioned past experience. Through spring 1943, she maintained neutrality, neither boasting nor confessing. Chemical expertise applied to antiseptics, not poison. Precision remained unchanged. Purpose differed. German counterinsurgency operations intensified. Border checkpoints multiplied. She anticipated exposure when occupation authorities began cross-checking identity records. Escape arranged through Red Cross convoy, evacuating civilians to Hungary. The route followed mountain passes under night travel. Convoy composition: 2 trucks, 6 nurses, 30 wounded. She replaced 1 registered nurse on the list using forged seal from Lublin Depot. Departure: September 14th, 1943. Destination: Budapest. Roads mined. Bridges collapsed. Convoy halted repeatedly for inspection. Her forged documents survived scrutiny through accuracy of German phrasing, errors of accent compensated by brevity. At border near Kesmarok, a guard noticed discrepancy in birth year. She feigned deafness from artillery concussion. Medical justification plausible. Inspection ended. Crossing completed 2 hours. Budapest remained nominally Allied, but infiltrated by refugees and intelligence agents. Hospitals overwhelmed by wounded from Eastern Front. She resumed work under Hungarian license obtained through underground contacts. Records list: Helena Weiss, nurse, assigned to Field Hospital number 27. She performed surgery assistance, sterilization, inoculations. No irregularities noted. By winter 1943-44, Gestapo cooperation extended into Hungary. Mass arrests of Polish refugees began. She understood trajectory, capture, interrogation, deportation. Preparation resumed. Forged Swiss transit visa acquired from diplomat network. Cost: 2 gold rings and a single cyanide capsule kept for contingency. The final transfer occurred March 1944. She boarded train from Budapest to Zurich via Vienna using Red Cross manifest of medical personnel. The route heavily monitored neutral markings, offered partial protection. At each station, military police verified passenger lists. Her documents bore authentic stamp of the International Committee of the Red Cross, stolen months earlier by sympathizers. Verification successful. Crossing into Switzerland completed after 37 hours. Geneva Reception Center processed arrivals alphabetically. She presented as Anna Luthold, Swiss-born nurse, repatriated from Hungary. Her German unaccented interview lasted 6 minutes. File opened under new name, number 3481 R. Occupation confirmed. Residence assigned. The trail of Leah Weiss ended. In Geneva, she entered neutrality as if entering silence. The city operated under rationing and discretion. Hospitals filled with refugees from every front. Poles, French, Russians, displaced civilians registered as stateless. Her new identification placed her within a children's convalescent home administered by the International Red Cross. The work familiar: gauze, syringes, diluted antiseptics, order through repetition. No questions asked beyond procedure. She signed reports as Anna Luthold, her handwriting steady, the same precision that had once measured death. Information of war traveled slowly but arrived eventually. From newspapers and radio, she learned of the Warsaw Ghetto uprising, the destruction of Lodz, the Allied advance. Names of cities replaced names of people. She recorded dates in a notebook, columns of outcomes, no commentary. Her arithmetic of survival continued privately. Each day calculated, never confessed. By late 1944, the Reich collapsed toward its own mathematics of exhaustion. Swiss hospitals received soldiers from both sides under conventions of neutrality. She treated German prisoners without hesitation, applying bandages, counting pulse. None recognized her. Her detachment, indistinguishable from professionalism. Files described her as reliable, disciplined, precise. For the first time in years, her uniform bore no false insignia. It required only silence. When peace returned in May 1945, Geneva filled with representatives of new governments and displaced intelligence officers. They brought archives, interrogation transcripts, medical records seized from occupied territories. Among them, reports from Krakow hospitals compiled by German staff retreating westward. Several mentioned an unexplained series of deaths labeled Herzstillstand Warren Schlaf, cardiac arrest during rest. The pattern clear to anyone reading numerically. 4 within 6 weeks, all from the same ward, none older than 40. No autopsy results. The doctor of record, Keller, listed cause as possible morphine intolerance. No investigation reopened. Allied analysts cross-referenced similar deaths in other facilities but found none. The Krakow file remained anomaly. Later, an American intelligence summary on resistance tactics catalogued instances of chemical execution within German hospitals. Suspected internal sabotage. The entry listed compounds identical to her formula. Barbiturate, combined with cyanide in ethanol solution, dosage 0.18 milligrams kg. Its source credited to Polish underground medical manual. Origin unknown. Her equations had traveled farther than her name. For years she maintained anonymity, renewing Swiss residence permits under neutral status. Employment records traced unbroken service in medical institutions. Geneva, 1944 to 1950. Lausanne, 1953 to 1957. Zurich, 1958 to 1969. Each line identical in phrasing, registered nurse, specialization in pharmacology. She never married, never altered handwriting style. Colleagues described her as quiet, punctual, precise. No one connected her to the past. Few asked about it. The world built new hospitals over ruins. In 1962, West German courts conducted trials of former SS personnel from Krakow. One witness, an orderly, mentioned a nurse who disappeared after a sequence of deaths. He recalled only initials on the medical ledger. LW. Prosecutors searched archives for those letters. None found. Records from the field hospital destroyed during retreat, except a single logbook preserved by administrative accident. In its margin, faint pencil notation beside dosage line, LW, recalculated. The document entered evidence as curiosity, not proof. The initials never explained. By the 1970s, historians investigating medical crimes of the Reich catalogued both perpetrators and anomalies. Among the anomalies stood the Krakow file. Cause unknown, victims SS, perpetrators unrecorded. One researcher proposed accidental contamination. Another suggested deliberate poisoning by staff sympathetic to resistance. The second theory, dismissed for lack of evidence. The archive closed without conclusion. She remained alive in Zurich, living in a rented room above a pharmacy. Neighbors remembered her watering plants at fixed hours, reading chemical journals decades out of date. Mail, addressed to a loophole, continued to arrive from hospitals seeking advice on dosage conversions. Her replies exact, devoid of signature flourish. By then, her eyesight weakened, hands unsteady yet still capable of precise measurement. The instruments on her table, arranged with mathematical symmetry, pipette, scale, glass vial, stopwatch. Objects aligned as if awaiting use. Her final years passed without visitors. Medical records show treatment for chronic heart arrhythmia. Ironic, but unnoticed. She died in 1975, aged 63. The landlord found her notebooks sealed in a tin box labeled Chemical Data 1941 to 44. Inside, formulas in German and Latin, tables of lethal doses, margin notes referencing specific morphine batches. No narrative, no confession. Authorities forwarded contents to cantonal archives under classification medical research. Origin unclear. Files stored without publicity. 2 decades later, historians reviewing resistance materials for an exhibition on clandestine medicine discovered parallels between her formulas and wartime underground manuals used by Allied sabotage units. Identical dosage ratios appeared under section Emergency Methods, Silent Neutralization. Cross-referencing revealed earlier origin in Polish resistance archives deposited in London in 1944. The earliest entry, credited to unknown nurse, Kraków sector. The handwriting matched her samples precisely. The discovery remained unpublished at her family's request. There were no relatives to claim credit, only custodians of evidence. The chemical pathway she used remained scientifically elegant. Barbiturate lowered respiration. Cyanide halted cellular oxygen exchange. Combined, they produced calm death without convulsion. No visible sign of poisoning. No discoloration. No odor. In forensic literature, it became reference for theoretical analysis of undetectable compounds. Few realized its field origin came from a hospital ward in occupied Poland. Modern historians reconstruct her trajectory through fragments. Lodz ghetto hospital rosters list 1 nurse missing after liquidation in 1941. Red Cross files show an Anna Witkowska appearing in Krakow a year later. Swiss immigration records confirm entry of Anna Luthold from Budapest in 1944. The continuum perfect, except for changes of name. No definitive link needed. Probability sufficient. She existed between categories: victim, perpetrator, witness, but defined by none. Her actions recorded in chemical notation rather than moral statement. The distance between ethics and precision measured in milligrams. She neither confessed nor denied. Her notebooks speak only in ratios and solubility coefficients. Emotion absent by design. Decades after her death, archival researchers from the University of Basel re-examined her case for a study on medical resistance. Among microfilmed hospital documents, they found the line once scribbled beside dosage chart, LW, dosage recalculated. The letters faint, but legible under infrared scan. The ink composition matched the brand used in Krakow during 1942. Correlation confirmed. Identification probable. No announcement followed. The discovery filed quietly under reference code 47KR. medic. Her revenge operated without witnesses, without confession, without consequence. In a war defined by noise, hers remained a mathematics of silence. Precision replaced fury. Method replaced ideology. She had fought not through violence, but through equation. Each vial a calculation, each death a proof. No photograph survived, no grave identified. Only her handwriting, the measured script of a professional recording data, endures on yellowed paper. The Kraków hospital remains a residential block, its basement converted to storage. No plaque marks the site. Inside National Archives, 4 death certificates remain unchanged, cardiac collapse during rest. Next to one, the faint pencil mark still visible. Her revenge was written in milligrams.